What up, y'all? I am Vegas, and this is One2FlowOn. The topic today is... Can't believe I'm doing this. Is Joe Budden right? Now, if you don't know, Joe Budden has a podcast entitled Everyday Struggle, and he had Lil Yachty on the program, right? Now, we all know how a lot of hip-hop fans and other people feel about Lil Yachty, but the thing is, we know how Joe Budden feel about Lil Yachty. Doesn't really care for him lyrically or whatever, but I watched at least part of the interview with him on the podcast, with Lil Yachty on the podcast, and kind of feel like Joey was wrong. Now, don't get it twisted. He wasn't wrong in the sense of he shouldn't take him to task about his music. I mean, as an artist, you're always going to be challenged on your music. It's people's prerogative to have an opinion just as much as it's your prerogative to express yourself. Now, Lil Yachty's album cover is the theme is supposed to suggest Outkast. And he was explaining how he feels like he's an outcast as far as hip hop. He stands outside of the lines. And hearing him talk, I got a good understanding of his position and how he felt about himself. He didn't seem bitter. He seemed to explain himself better in the interview than he does on records. But that's besides the point. But I felt like Joey was a little out of line. Not because of what he said, because of how he said it. See, the problem with older generation versus younger generation, and now that, I'm old enough to fit in that category of the older generation versus a younger generation, I always felt like, as a kid, it was always hard for me to accept what adults said about my music, about how I dressed, because of the way some of them addressed it. A lot of aggression, a lot of, chastising and putting you down. And when you're a teenager or a young man, you don't really want to hear that. You're kind of finding yourself. It's not the most effective way to drive your message across to me. That's how I felt. But then there were those older cats who would say, hey, I see what you're doing. I recognize it. You're expressing yourself. It may not be my thing, but what I do realize is maybe you should add these elements, or maybe you should keep this in mind. I don't feel like Joe Budden really did that. I think he did the older generation of hip-hoppers some disservice. I think he proved a weak argument on the side of the millennials, is that the old heads are just angry and mad that it's not the 90s anymore, which isn't true. The problem with the way Joe Budden's expressed it was because he had this aggression that Lil Yachty didn't have. And you could see it in the interview. He was kind of like, this old head's always yelling, always angry, what? And you know what I'm saying? And maybe that frustrated Joey even more. But I'm calling him Joey like I know him. But whatever, man. But the thing is I think he would be more, and not just him, but I think they would hear us more if we just put it plain and simple and calm. You know what I'm saying? Instead of just saying, yo, man, y'all generation is trash, blah, blah, blah. Because everybody doesn't speak for everybody. That's on both sides. Now, do I like Lil Yachty's music? No, not at all. Is it hip-hop? Unfortunately, it's that cousin who you kind of wish wasn't your cousin, but he's still your cousin. Yeah. But at the end of the day, who's to say that at some point in his career, he doesn't feel compelled to do more as an artist? Maybe right now, when you're going from being poor or not having, and now you have, you kind of want to go with that feeling because that's what got you the money and the fame and whatever. But at the same time, you're an artist. And at some point, you're going to want to do a little bit more, a little bit different. You're going to grow. You're going to have different experiences. And this is fair enough for him, his first experience. But I still feel like Joe Budden was correct in what he was saying. I just didn't really get why he had to be so aggressive with the little homie. Because the thing is regardless of how you or me may feel about his lyrics and his music, which are whack in hip-hop terms, it's not for us. It's not. It's just not. You know what I'm saying? Just like Wu-Tang, Nas, Biggie. Our parents may have liked some of their hit records, but probably because they were rapping over their beats from back in the days. Not everybody's going to like everything. Not every generation is going to completely copy. But he's not the worst thing in the world when there's so many other younger artists out here getting it. Stop hating. Have an opinion. Express it. Keep it moving. Pass it for, you got to pay it forward to the younger generation. You know what I'm saying? Give them the jewels that will help them improve. Bars. Not that good bars, but bars nonetheless. That's going to do it for me. You can follow me on social media at Vegas World INC. That being Twitter, Instagram, and Snapchat. And you can check out my podcast, Hip Hop Now Podcast. The link is in the description. Hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button. Then go down and comment. What do you think? Do you not care whatsoever what Lil Yachty thinks about anything? Or did you feel like Joe Budden was just kind of out of line with his aggression and anger and the veins and shit that was sticking out of his neck as he was talking with the... You know what I mean. Until next time, y'all, I'm not a critic. I'm a fan. Peace.
Drop it on the random.